Hey podcast, I have a theory I'd like to run by you. The idea is simple, or the premise is simple. We're all human. The human animal is infinitely diverse, but ultimately it is, one thing. In the same way that you could characterize a cat or a dog as uniquely, characteristic to that species, or like a frog does frog things and a worm does worm things, bacteria does bacteria things, humans do human things, right? The only difference is that seemingly we're the only ones that can think about thinking. And that ability to think about thinking gives us profound insights and then also profound problems. You find an animal in the wild that's been attacked, it runs away, it gets safe to safety, and then it shakes itself off, it processes its trauma, and it gets back to life. And unless that trauma is prolonged and continuous, it's actually pretty fine. There's not really a lasting psychological damage. But humans are different. We suffer trauma and we sort of get into this rumination cycle. We don't allow ourselves to process and to release and to let go. So we develop PTSD and other mental disturbances based on our past experiences. We get blocks, we get overwhelmed, we get conditioned. Then we think about it, we conceptualize it, we try to find meaning in it rather than just releasing it. And I'm speaking from personal experience here and with myself and with other people, of course. But what I see happening again and again is life provides us with circumstances that are overwhelming, that are too much, that go beyond our ability to cope, and we freeze. And if it's continuous, if it's perpetual, if it's ongoing, we never get a real chance to let our nervous systems relax. Combine that or sort of confound that with the growing nature of social media, the mega societies where we have millions, if not billions of people all sort of connected together, but not really connected like we used to be, combined with social norms and a whole variety of other things, leaves us with an inability to release the stress of our bodies. If we're constantly worried about money, if we're constantly worried about war, if we're constantly trying to keep up with the Kardashians, so to speak, if we're constantly in this mild state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn and never able to release it, that will cause issues. So that's the first part that I want to consider, that this is happening to most all of us, and we've moved away from our ability to just really know that that's happening. Like we get stuck in this thing and it feels normal, but it's sort of not. And I mean, this gets into a discussion of what normal is, but I guess where I'm going with all of this is leading to share with you more of what I've been doing in my own sort of practice in response to this and what I'm sharing with the world. If you are following me on Insight Timer, and I'll put a link to my profile, you'll know that I've been doing a bunch of lives, 1 to 2 to 3 a week, and in the process developing what I'm calling intuitive guidance. This is effectively a combination of, different Western psychological theory, for example, internal family systems, and combining that with Eastern meditation practices like Vipassana, as well as spiritual practices like energetic visualization and other things. It's an eclectic practice, but it holds to the idea that the body keeps the score. In our body, we hold on to traumas and other things that we can't release, and we hold on to it. The body holds on to it, and then when we are in a place to look back upon it, when it feels like it, it starts releasing it, and that causes disturbances. But if we approach this part of our bodies with calm, compassionate, curiosity and courage, we can start to release. So I've been developing this process, and I encourage you to join in on the lives, and I also encourage you to check out the guided meditation. I've put up a 46-minute meditation on the website for free. I'll put a link to both of those so you can check it out and do this practice. But the practice basically gets you to calm the nervous system down by breath work. I completed a breathwork certification, and the basic takeaway is to calm the nervous system, you breathe in through the nose, slowly and deeply. In through the nose, out through the mouth, deep into the belly, and slowly. So we slow down the breathing, then we do a body scan looking for places of numbness, tension, pain, blockage, spiritual overwhelm, something. You'll know it when you're there. You find that part, then you get curious about it. Noting down the physical sensations that are arising. How big is it? What are the edges like? Is it porous? Is it moving? Are there, is it there temperatures involved? Then you go a little bit deeper. Are there memories being triggered? Are there moods, emotions, sounds, visualizations coming? You ask this space, what do you need me to know? What do you need me to think? What do you need me to feel? What do you need me to understand? And you keep getting deeper and you just open yourself up to what this part has to share with you. The idea is that this part represents an inner child or a part of you that broke away to try and protect you from the traumas of your past. It doesn't trust you yet. You've not been aware of its existence, or it's been sort of screaming at you through physical or psychological pain and you've been ignoring it, or not yet able to best address it and help it. But in this process, coming back to it and back to it and back to it each week with the lives, or each morning and night, depending on how you're practicing, you develop trust and then it slowly releases. It releases by sharing its story with you through visualizations, through words, through understandings, through a whole variety of things. Oftentimes, the traumas we face are pre or post-verbal. They happen when we're young, or they're so overwhelming that they become beyond words. So it's not like you're talking to this part as I'm talking to you now, but more like it shows you things. It reveals things to you. Because if you think about it, words are just code for brain mush. A whole bunch of stuff's happening inside my mind and my body. I convert it into the code that you can understand, i.e. my words now, and you respond, converting those words back into brain and body mush, for lack of a better expression. After that, you get this visualization, and at the end of the session, you offer on the in-breath love, connection, meta-meditation, compassion to this part, and on the out-breath, the opportunity to release. And throughout this whole thing, this part of you will be sort of developing trust, connecting with you more and more. You may find that it feels that you are younger than you actually are, because that's the age that it was sort of created or came about. It may want to be doing something different. For example, if it's holding on to a lot of tension, maybe it actually wants to be playing or sort of freer. So you're just getting really curious and just understanding this part of you in the past and all of this sort of stuff, offering it love and the offer to release. Anything that it shares with you, you do not judge it as good or bad, it just is. And beyond that, at the end of the session, you basically say, hey, I'll come back to you, we'll do this again. So you're sort of developing this ongoing trust because it can take time. And then you might find that this part wants something from you, maybe some self-care, maybe to stop or start doing something. And if you can, you offer it. So that's basically the process of intuitive guidance. And like I said, I'll put a link to my Insight Timer profile so you can join in on the lives, and to the guided meditation 46 minute one. It's deep, it's awesome, it's incredible, in the show notes so you can experience that for yourself. I wanted to share with you something that came for me in the most recent session. I was checking into a part that was sort of in my jaw, and it was connected to something deep inside my belly. And it was like the visualization that came was this bright, overwhelming light, terribly bright. And I couldn't even look at it. And sometimes with the visualizations, you get this sort of intuitive feeling to sort of add or tweak something. Maybe I need sunglasses, maybe I need to hop into the shade, to sort of adapt to what is being shown. But that didn't happen. It was just so overwhelming. And I was taking some breaths, checking into it, just accepting what's coming and sort of zooming the visualization out. And I realized that this part, this big sort of brightness was a sun, a bright supernova, like really overwhelming. And I asked it, what do you need me to know? And this sort of almost big cap screaming response came back, fear. I am afraid. I was like, whoa. So keep breathing, just accepting, it was a lot, but that's okay. We're just going through the process. We're just accepting that, there's a lot there. How old are you? And it's like, felt like I was 8 to 10, time of my trauma, one of the major traumas. Okay. And then I realized this visualization zoomed out, and I realized that I was a planet orbiting that sun. I'm the planet orbiting the sun of fear. And this idea of this conception of breaking the cycle, the cycle, the circle, the cycle of the orbit of this fear, very powerful, very profound. Then through this process, towards the end of the process, when I started offering this part, the love and connection, the opportunity to release, it was not at all ready to release, but the visualization expanded, and I realized that I'm not just the sun of, the fear-based sun or the planet orbiting it. That's one small aspect of my psyche, of my mentality, of my totality. But I'm also a galaxy, a universe full of other suns with other planets. And it really just sort of helped me to zoom out and realize, it's like, okay, there's a lot of different things that I'm hanging on to, but if I can zoom out enough, if I can go through this process enough and go, hey, okay, I've got to help deal with this situation, this massive fear, this overwhelm. But perhaps if I zoom out enough, I'll realize that I'm not just that. I'm not just a planet circling fear. I'm a universe of planets circling different things. And it would be good for me not to get trapped and caught up and stuck in that overwhelm, in that space, in that place, because that would just not be good, right? I get caught up there. Like I said, this practice of intuitive guidance draws from a variety of different things. There's a major component of internal family systems, this idea that we have different parts, and those parts can get into conflict and get burdened, but you can process them and reconnect them through this idea of being in the self. And in the self, I think, is akin to the Buddhist practice of like oneness or stillness, or, more religious practices of being with God, or, spiritual practices of being with divine or in flow. You get into that state. How do you know you're in that state? Well, you're in that state when you feel this profound quiet, when you feel this release, when you feel those ASMR-based shivers running up and down your spine. And from that place, if you can sit in that place when you're just in everyday life, it's great. And if you do it while you're doing a practice like intuitive guidance, you can help to release some of these parts that are a bit burdened. I do this practice daily, morning and night, and then I'm doing them, the live sessions on Insight Timer. I'm finding a lot of benefit from it. Over time, it's causing me to reconnect and integrate with the disparate parts of myself. To use the analogy that came up, the universe, I'm seeing that I am the universe as opposed to being stuck in the individual little sort of fear circling cycle that I was in. And I'm finding that this is, translating to a lot of the work that I'm doing with the people in the lives. I'm getting 100 to 200 people in each session, and it's profound. People are offering donations and messages, and they're messaging me being like, "Oh, I missed out on the session. When can I do another one?" It's incredible. The response is amazing, and it's really cool to be able to bring this to the world. It's something that is forming. It's forming in a way that has never really happened before. It's like, this is something that is helping me, helping others. It seems not fully unique, but it's unique to me in the delivery, and it's working. It's really cool. I guess the final thing that I would like to say on this topic is that, in the sense, back to the start of the podcast, I was saying how humans are, we are the human animal. We tend to develop theories of psychology like internal family systems or cognitive behavioral therapy or psychotherapy, shadow work, all of these things, or spiritual practices like Buddhism or Hinduism or, like Tantra, whatever, all of these different things and different religions and different practices and different ways of framing the world. All of it feels like it's pointing to a same truth. If there is a God, it'd be a God for all of us, right? If there is a way that the human mind works, we're all human, so it's all the same truth. If there is some sort of spiritual practice that is truth that works, it's the same for us all. But I feel like we get bogged down in words. These words trap us because they're just a clunky way to describe reality, to describe our inner world, to describe spirituality. How could words describe God? How could words describe truth beyond what can be written on a page? They can't. So we get bogged down in theory, we get bogged down in ideas, and these ideas get entrenched and then they fight, religious wars or different battles between different psychology theories and all of these things. But for me, I can't help but be eclectic with it all. It's all pointing to a truth. And that's sort of why I call this practice intuitive guidance. It draws from a variety of different areas, but it's sort of speaking to the idea of helping people identify and release these things that they're holding on to. And I call it intuitive guidance because I guide the people that I'm working with intuitively, drawing from all of these places, and then they have to guide themselves. We can connect on a certain level. You can connect into yourself a bit deeper, and then with this practice, it gets you into your subconscious, into your body. The body keeps the score. The feelings that you're feeling are messages. If you can gently, calmly return back to this place from a place of empowered peace, calm compassion, and sort of help yourself to release, you'll find that there is a profound peace that comes, a profound stillness, a beautiful silence. And whilst I'm drawing from all of these things, I think that most everything is pointing to a similar truth. If we sit in silence, if we move towards something that is a bit more profound, a bit beyond us, if we use that to empower us to connect to our bodies, to reconnect with a place of sort of compassion, healing, calm, clarity, curiosity, get curious about our experience, healing can come. And the more I look into every different psychology theory through my Master of Counseling, and the more I read on different spiritual practices and attend events like, of a Vipassana 10-day silent retreat and all of these things, the more I do all of that, the more I realize just how similar all of the practices are at their deepest level, because they're going beyond words. It's almost like we're using words to try and point to truth. You look at the religious texts of everyone, the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, the scriptures. You look at the scientific articles and the literature on every different theory of the mind. Even get into physics. It's all endless words, endless descriptions. And I can't help but feel that if you take a pause and sort of allow yourself to go beyond words into the visualizations, into feelings, into instincts, into flow, you start to see that there is truth that connects it all. But if you try and put that into words, it becomes bogged down. So I guess what I'm saying is, with the intuitive guidance, I'm trying to use words to help you to release and to heal and understand yourself. But my hope is that you take the energetic transfer, to use a woo-woo experience, or basically look at the intent behind it, rather than getting stuck with the words that are used, because that's the point. The point is to go beyond the words, to go beyond just being locked in and actually having this deeper understanding of yourself. And you may not be able to explain it. Visualizations pop up. I was lucky with this planet one. It sort of makes sense. But oftentimes symbols come and interpretations come, and it might not make sense to anyone else. It might not even make sense to you, but it makes sense to that part. That part might be trying to speak with you, or rather connect with you. It might try words, but words are often not adequate. So maybe it uses memory or sound or feeling or connection or analogy or visualizations or all of these things. And the best thing you can do is just to accept it. It's almost like if you have a child and they come to you crying and overwhelmed, you don't try and make sense of the words they're saying necessarily. You do, but you accept them, you embrace them, you're compassionate to them, and you help them to heal. Just by being there and accepting their energy is the act of healing. So with all of that said, I will leave you a link to my Insight Timer course, Insight Timer profile rather, and you can join in the lives there. I'll also leave you a link to my website to do the intuitive guidance, guided meditation. And if you do either of those, or if you're interested, I also offer one-on-one intuitive guidance sessions as a part of my counseling and coaching work. I can do this work directly with you, leading you through, and the people that I've done that with are receiving profound awakenings and changes. So I will put links to all of that in the show notes, and check it out. And I guess just when you do, just go easy, because you're going to be tapping into deep work, but it's worth the it's worth it. It's worth to go through this, to reconnect, to heal, and to discover that you are a universe, not just a planet circling fear. So check those out. The Insight Timer profile, the intuitive guidance, guided meditation, and my counseling and coaching and intuitive guidance one-on-one offerings. Catch ya.